We all know the super compact 12-volt battery angle grinder from Bosch, the GWS 12V76, an incredibly small, incredibly handy, and unbelievably practical device that should definitely not be missing on any construction site. In parallel, Makita has recently introduced an 18-volt counterpart to the market, namely the Makita DMC300. It's also a super compact 76mm battery angle grinder, but from the 18-volt LXT segment. In today's video, we'll thoroughly examine what we can really expect from this mini battery angle grinder, how it performs in the test, and whether it's worth the investment or not. So let's not waste any time and dive right into it after the intro. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel quickly and activate the bell to not miss any future videos. You can find the current prices to support this channel below in the video description. Thank you very much for your support, and with that, let's get started after the intro. The Bosch GWS 12V76, a super compact and incredibly versatile mini battery angle grinder that should unquestionably be present on any construction site. I've introduced and tested this device in detail some time ago. If you haven't seen the video about this mini angle grinder, be sure to check it out. I'll link it up here in the top right corner. In today's video, I have a similar device for you, but not from Bosch, rather from Makita. It's also a super compact 76mm battery angle grinder in the 18-volt format, the DMC300. But what this compact 18-volt device really has to offer for us, we'll thoroughly explore in today's video. I would say let's start with the contents of the package. In the package, we get the user manual for the actual battery angle grinder, followed by the compact 18-volt device, also extremely practical, with 3 matching cutting discs for different applications. And finally, you can see it down here, a dust extraction hood is also included in the standard package. So we're undoubtedly well equipped. The only thing that's missing, of course, is a battery or a charger. You have to buy them separately, and the links are also provided below in the video description. That brings us to this point. Now, let's take a detailed look at the mini angle grinder. Let's start with the first impression, because regarding the processing, I don't have much to say. The device is extremely high quality and robustly made, typical of Makita. Additionally, as you can see, it really is a mini angle grinder, meaning that in terms of size, the device is incredibly compact and relatively light. On its own, without a battery, it has a total length of only around 250 millimeters, and the device weighs only 800 grams. When combined with a large 18-volt 5 ampere-hour battery, the weight increases to 1,500 grams. In connection with the large 18-volt 5 ampere-hour battery, the angle grinder is well balanced, meaning the center of gravity is approximately in the middle of the handle area. Furthermore, it's worth mentioning that the handle of the angle grinder is truly comfortable to grip. It's sufficiently large, ergonomically designed, and, as you can see, almost entirely rubberized. This allows for comfortable and secure grip and control of the device in practice. The essential controls, such as the unlock mechanism, trigger, and the right-left rotation, are easily reachable with the thumb and index finger. This means there's no need to reposition the hand during use. It's important to note that there's no unlock mechanism on the other side, indicating that the device is primarily designed for right-handed users. Yes, you heard that correctly. This brings us to the next distinctive feature of this mini angle grinder, namely the rotation direction. While most angle grinders as we know them rotate in only one direction, this mini angle grinder gives us the option to select the rotation direction. For this purpose, on the top side, there's a small, easy-to-use black switch for selecting the rotation direction using the thumb. This means we can choose between F for forward rotation and R for reverse rotation. If you're having trouble visualizing it, the corresponding rotation direction is also indicated on the protective cover with F and R. In practice, this feature may be a bit unusual at first, especially when starting to cut with the grinder in reverse. However, you'll quickly realize how incredibly practical this feature is because by determining the rotation direction, I can control where the sparks or material are directed. This means that when I work with the grinder in reverse, with the cutting disc rotating the other way, all the sparks and material are directed away from me. This allows me to perform a cut without being showered with sparks, which may be challenging with another angle grinder where sparks are constantly coming toward you. In this regard, without a doubt, an extremely practical feature that Makita has provided for this many-angle grinder. However, it's crucial to ensure that the selected rotation direction matches the corresponding cutting disc. Now, let's move on to the next important point, which is the cutting disc. In this case, it's not a regular 125mm angle grinder, but a specifically more compact device with a cutting disc diameter of 76mm. This means that, logically, we can only mount the small 76mm cutting discs on this device. What I find quite practical is that Makita includes 3 different cutting discs in the package, for metal, stone and tiles, and multi-material. Personally, I would recommend getting a few additional cutting discs, at least for metal, if you decide to go for this device. The installation of the cutting disc is done just like with any other angle grinder. Here on the spindle, we find a small Allen screw, directly below it the mounting flange. The corresponding cutting disc is clamped here, then secured and tightened. To prevent the spindle from turning, there's also a large black button on the other side that allows us to lock the entire spindle. Not to forget, a small matching Allen key is also included so that we can tighten the Allen screw at the front properly. The Allen key is located at the back, securely stored right at the base of the machine, always readily available. What else is worth mentioning? Of course, the most crucial aspect, the built-in motor. It's housed inside this compact casing and is, of course, a powerful brushless motor that provides the device with ample energy. In practice, the angle grinder achieves an impressive idle speed of 20,000 revolutions per minute, which is typical for such a compact angle grinder. Additionally, the device is XPT certified, meaning it's completely splash-proof. Also, not to be forgotten, it features a motor brake that ensures the cutting disc comes to a stop within a short time when I release the trigger. In practice, I tested the angle grinder in conjunction with a large 18-volt 5Ah battery, which I'd fully charged before the test to provide maximum power and endurance. I started with one of the most demanding tasks, namely working on metal. This means I took the mini device directly to 8mm concrete reinforcement bars and made several cuts. Next, I subjected it to a slightly heavier load, namely a threaded rod M14, and as you can see, there were obviously no difficulties. It's worth noting that the device naturally takes some time to complete a cut through such materials. By the way, the maximum cutting depth is 16mm. This is definitely something to keep in mind before starting to work on larger materials. Next, I tested the angle grinder on a 1.5mm thick sheet metal. Remarkable in this regard is the speed at which the angle grinder can truly separate the material without encountering any difficulties. I also tested the angle grinder on thicker material, namely 3mm thick aluminum, making a complete cut swiftly. Similarly, with stainless steel V2A, 2mm thick, I performed a complete cut without any issues. That covers metal processing. Next, I attached the multi-material cutting disc and started cutting 4.5mm thick plexiglass. It allows for extremely fast and precise cuts. Additionally, it's suitable for working with wood. Therefore, I further tested the device on a 3mm plywood board, and the progress was remarkable. Finally, I fully trimmed a 12mm thick board with the angle grinder. Another extremely important application of this small angle grinder is working on stone and tiles with a diamond cutting disc. In this case, it's crucial to pay attention to the rotation direction, as it's always indicated on the diamond cutting disc. The special thing about the Makita DMC300 is that with the solo version, we get a dust extraction protective cover included, ensuring that we can easily capture the corresponding dust in practice, especially when cutting tiles and the like. I thoroughly tested this in practice for you as well. The installation of the protective cover is relatively simple. On the back, there's a large black locking screw that you turn to the left to open. Then you can fold up the protective cover and insert the angle grinder, already equipped with the cutting disc, from the other side, ensuring it fully snaps into place as evident from this button. Afterward, the dust extraction hood is fully assembled. We can easily adjust the corresponding cutting depth on the back, and on the front, there's the port for the vacuum cleaner, with an outer diameter of approximately 22 millimeters. In this test, I examined the small Makita angle grinder on a ceramic tile 6 millimeters thick. The device had absolutely no difficulties making multiple cuts on the tile. Lastly, I also tested it on a significantly harder floor tile, 9 millimeters thick. Here too, I made a complete cut and observed no issues regarding performance or endurance. In practice, we can use the angle grinder with or without the dust extraction device. I tested both scenarios for you with different tiles. I started with a thin tile, 6 millimeters thick, and then a significantly harder and somewhat thicker floor tile, 9 millimeters thick. Overall, I can say there are absolutely no performance issues. This means the angle grinder is powerful enough to make quick and precise cuts. The significantly larger difference, however, pertains to dust exposure. In this regard, I can say that the dust extraction hood is highly recommended, as it effectively and broadly extracts the dust. This is extremely practical when cutting stone and tiles indoors, where you want to minimize dust exposure. This can be easily achieved with this extraction system in practice. After the comprehensive practical test, the large 5 ampere-hour battery still had 3 out of 4 bars remaining of capacity, indicating that the device is quite efficient. By the way, for those who want to review the test in detail, I'll link the comprehensive extreme test video of this small angle grinder up here on the top right on the info card. So that's it for the small Makita mini cordless angle grinder. Overall, I can say I'm very impressed with this device. The small 12-volt tool from Bosch already pleasantly surprised me, and the 18-volt tool from Makita is equally impressive. It's sufficiently powerful and comes with extremely practical features. This means, in my opinion, this little device should also be a must-have in the workshop or on the construction site, especially for performing delicate tasks with this tool. It's extremely practical for tile installers or similar trades where smaller cuts need to be made quickly with a handy device in practice. What other applications do you see for this small Makita mini angle grinder? Feel free to share your feedback in the comments below. Otherwise, I would say if you enjoyed this video, please show it with a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, quickly subscribe to this channel and activate the bell to not miss any future videos. You can find the current prices for this device to support the channel in the video description below. Thank you very much for your support, and with that, take care until next time.